The plot is thickening. It feels like this webinar has been in the making for the last 2 years or so. And finally, all the puzzle pieces that we need to beat prop trading challenges are in place. And what these puzzle pieces are and how you can take advantage of them, this is what this webinar is all about. My name is Daniel Sinek, and I will be your host tonight. And I'd like to welcome all of you to this TechTalk, the Conqueror EA beat the prop trading challenges with artificial intelligence. Before we get started, just a quick reminder that trading bears risk and is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to use risk capital. Should you lose this risk capital, it will not affect your lifestyle. When it comes to hypothetical or backtest performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance. Now, I am not alone today, and I am joined by Homer, my business partner, and also Nicholas, our great software developer. Both will be available in the chat, and should you have questions, don't be shy and write them into the Q&A section of your Zoom window. For those of you who do not know us yet, we are tradingindicators.com, your website where you can find all the latest trading tools which will help you make better trading decisions. Over the years, we have developed more than 500 different indicators, automated strategies, trading dashboards, trading applications. We have clients all over the world, including trading educators, institutions, but also many retail traders. And we have one common mission: to create tools and indicators which will help you to make better trading decisions. Now, over the years, we have really grown our portfolio and our offering. We not only develop indicators, we also create full-blown trading dashboards with execution directly on the web. We have smart apps, fully automated strategies, scanners, and so forth. And we're driven by trying to always push the envelope a bit further and create tools which are truly useful for you guys to make better trading decisions. All right, so with this said, a quick reminder, this webinar is being recorded. So don't worry if you have to drop off earlier or if you're even joining late. Don't worry, it will be recorded and it will be available on our YouTube channel within 24 hours. How can you find our YouTube channel? It's quite easy. On the top right corner of our homepage, which is www.tradingindicators.com. you will see a little YouTube icon. Click on it and it will bring you directly to our YouTube channel. And we're not only posting these tech talks on YouTube, we also post educational content, announcements, and so forth. So if you want to stay up to date, make sure to subscribe. Okay, so what's new? Our last tech talk is now 2 weeks ago. And a few things have happened. So what is new? What has happened in the last 2 weeks? Now, for once, I'm going to show you all the puzzle pieces which we are going to put together today to create a brand new version of our Conqueror EA, a bot designed to beat prop trading challenges. So I'm super excited about this because this really has been 2 years in the making. Besides this, we are also working on our homepage. So for those of you who check us out every once in a while, you may have noticed some changes already, and there are more changes to come. And we're super excited about this because we truly have outgrown our old homepage, because now we have quite a large product offering, different tools for different applications and platforms. It requires a new architecture and a newer design to make your life easier and to make it easier for you guys to find what you really need. All right. So with this being said, I think it's time to get into the weeds. So let's talk about prop trading. Let's talk about the Conqueror project, a project which we created about 2 or 3 months ago to beat prop trading auditions. Now, what is this Conqueror project all about? And some of you are already members, so you exactly know what it is all about. But for those of you who haven't heard about it yet, let me give you a quick overview. Now, it's a project designed to put all the tools together that you need to beat prop trading challenges. And these tools are not just an indicator or perhaps an EA, it's an entire system of tools, an entire ecosystem of things that you need to do, including optimization, including testing, including figuring out the right parameters to have a chance to beat these prop trading challenges. Now, a couple of things were important to us. The first thing is that it's going to be a fully automated solution when it comes to trading. So the trade execution, trade entry, and trade exit is fully automated. And this is being done by an EA. EA stands for Expert Advisor. And I believe this is a good thing because I think when it comes to trading, and especially when it comes to very specialized trading, like beating a prop trading challenge, there is no room for distracting emotions. Now, who's known to have zero emotions besides the German people? Well, robots, because they always will follow the rules that you give to them. They're never going to flinch. So this is why this Conqueror project, when it comes to trade execution, is going to be fully automated. We are also going to trade or trying to beat these challenges as a portfolio or within a portfolio approach. That means we're not only trading one symbol, we're going to trade a whole bucket of symbols. Diversification is key. And this has to do with the way this EA, this robot, is working. It is designed that it can recover, perhaps from a phase of a drawdown, which may violate some criteria of the prop trading challenge. It can recover from this by using a portfolio approach. Imagine, maybe for one symbol, the EA is in a drawdown, perhaps nearing the drawdown limit. Another EA on a different symbol is positive and making up for that minus. And together they're going to balance each other out and hopefully keep the drawdown to a level which will not violate these prop trading challenges and at the same time meet the profit target. We're also going to base all our decisions when it comes to configuration, position sizing, which symbols to trade. We're going to base these on hard numbers and not on our gut feeling. When I say hard numbers, I'm talking really hard numbers. I'm talking Excel sheets, seeing what's going on and finding the best configuration that will give us the best chances to beat these odds. Because I think this is really what you need to do to give yourself a realistic chance to beat these challenges. And with our latest version, that's the final puzzle piece that we are going to unveil today. We are always going to be dialed in. So we're always going to use the optimal indicators with the optimal settings for finding our trading opportunities. In fact, the EA will find these ones. And this is possible by utilizing our latest generation of our power bundle indicators, which have an auto optimization feature. And perhaps some of you already know it. Maybe you have already used our indicators with this auto optimization feature, and you probably can testify that this can really, really make a big difference. Okay, so what are the core ingredients to beat these challenges? So I talked about our principles first. So that was the previous slide. Now, what are the particular ingredients that we are going to use to beat these challenges? First of all, we are going to use our top indicators. And in particular, our power bundle with auto optimization, power bundle AO for MT4 or for MT5, depending on which platform you're going to use to attempt or tackle these challenges. Second ingredient, it's our Conqueror EA, our never flinching trading bot, which is now able, in its latest version, which I'm going to show today, it is now able to take advantage of the auto optimization feature of our power bundle indicators. So they work together seamlessly with this latest version of our Conqueror EA. We're also going to use a bunch of tools. As I said, this is, it's going to be a scientific approach, and don't be scared. I'm going to hold your hands through it, but we have to use a bunch of tools. So we're going to use potentially the MT4 data sanitizer, a tool which will allow you to get proper backtest data for MT4. we're going to use a tool called Portfolio Tester, either for MT4 or MT5, a tool which can batch automate your backtest. And we're going to use a tool called Portfolio Architect, which is able to perform a portfolio analysis of all your backtests together. Basically, calculating what is the portfolio outcome, the portfolio performance of running multiple EAs on multiple symbols at the same time, to figure out, to determine whether this portfolio would have passed the prop trading challenge or perhaps failed. And we're going to have a clear plan, a step-by-step plan, which will lead us from an initial analysis to hopefully success. Okay, so these are our key ingredients. And let me start to give you a brief overview of what this Power Bundle AO for MT4 and MT5 is all about. And it's going to be quick. I know many of you have probably already seen it. So our Power Bundle 360 with auto optimization consists of 3 indicators, and you can use any of these indicators when it comes to beating the prop trading challenges. So the robot, which I'm going to show to you, can be configured to work with any of these indicators. So what are these indicators? We have one indicator for trend trading, one for counter trend trading or perhaps finding reversals, and one for trading breakouts. The first indicator is called 1, 2, 3 strike, which is our trend trading indicator, and it will give you an entry signal if 3 things come together. So we need to have directionality, we need to have an increase of volume, and an increase in volatility. And if all 3 things come together, an entry signal is generated. Second indicator, divergence cloud. So you may know the term divergence, which is basically a disagreement between price and an underlying indicator. And if this happens, it can be a telltale sign that something is up. Something is about to change, perhaps. And this change can be perhaps a trend reversal, which is in the making, or perhaps a pullback. And this indicator is designed to detect exactly this, pullbacks and trend reversals. And finally, the third indicator is volatility crusher, an indicator designed to trade and identify strong breakouts. And to us, a strong breakout is a breakout where price will continue in the direction of the breakout for quite some time after the breakout has occurred. What you can do as a trader, you simply enter in the direction of the breakout in the anticipation that price will continue, and you can profit off that. Okay, so enough talking, enough theory. Let's check out some charts. And for now, I'm going to focus only on these 3 indicators, and then we're going to continue talking about the actual robot. So I'm going to pull in MT4. So I'm using MT4 for now, but this indicator or these indicators will work the same way for MT5 as well. Okay, so what do we have here? We have here a chart of Euro USD on the hourly time frame, and I have applied our 1, 2, 3 strike indicator. And the first thing you can see is that we have sometimes these red triangles downward facing or these green triangles upward facing. And these are our entry signals. This is when the indicator senses, okay, this could be the beginning or perhaps the continuation of a trend. So here we had a bearish signal, a sell signal. And with every entry signal, we also have a set of exit suggestions. This is when the indicator senses that perhaps the trend is weakening or perhaps pulling back, time to book some profits, take some risk off the table. And you can see this here, this indicator or this sell signal had 1, 2, 3 exit suggestions. And the final exit is when a signal in the opposite direction occurs. So here again, we had a long entry, and thus far we didn't have any exits yet, as this trend may as well continue in the upwards direction. What we also have with this indicator is this little box in the top left corner, which tells us, first of all, our historical win rates of our signals. We can see that in the long direction, historically speaking, we had a win rate of 63%, and in the short direction, a win rate of 77.42%. So far, so good. This was our base version of our power bundle, or of this indicator 1, 2, 3 strike. But now in the latest generation, we are introducing auto optimization. What does that mean? Well, like with every indicator, Let me just go to the settings here. This is MT4. Like every indicator has parameters. Let me just drag this in. It has parameters which you can change. For example, volatility period you could change, or volume period, and so forth. But how do we know which parameters are best for this particular symbol and this time frame? Oftentimes, this is a guessing game. It's up to the trader's gut feeling, or perhaps he just uses the default settings because he doesn't want to mess around with this. But by not changing the parameters, by not finding an optimal set of parameters, we are really not fully dialed into the current price chart, because there's always an optimal set which you can use. Now, with this latest generation for our power bundle, we are introducing a feature called auto optimization. It is enabled by default. You can see it here. Optimize on load is set to true. This means that whenever you apply the indicator to the chart, it will always use the optimal parameters. We even have different optimization modes: simplified, standard, and exhaustive, which is a feature for you to further hone in or dial in your optimization process. So simplified will test around 200 or 150 different parameter configurations. Standard would test perhaps, 800. It differs a bit from indicator to indicator. And exhaustive will test more than 1,000 different combinations. So the more thorough you are, potentially the better your signals will get, but it will also take a bit longer to load. So this is always the drawback. So the more exhaustive you get, the more you test, the longer it will take to load. And by default, simplified is enabled because this loads the fastest, and oftentimes it's sufficient. It gives you already very good signals. We have also introduced this version a re-optimization feature, and this is going to become very crucial later on. Imagine you have an EA that trades off this indicator. What you want is that the indicator constantly re-optimizes or periodically re-optimizes its parameters to make sure that the EA will always use the best signals. So you can imagine parameters which were optimal perhaps in January, especially on the lower time frame, they're probably not optimal anymore now in summer. This is why you want to have this re-optimization feature. And with this latest version of our power bundle, we can now take advantage of this. All right, so this is our 1, 2, 3 strike indicator. And let me quickly move on with our other two indicators. The second one is divergence cloud. I'm going to be a bit quicker. So this is divergence cloud. And the first thing you can see on the chart are these greenish or reddish clouds every once in a while. These are areas where we have bearish or bullish divergence. Bearish if it's red, and bullish if it's greenish. And we also have entry signals. For example, here we had a short entry signal followed by 1, 2, 3, 4 exit suggestions. Here another short entry. Here we had a long entry, and so forth. So the principle is very similar to 1, 2, 3 strike, but the underlying calculations, this one is based on divergence, is quite different. And here we also can see our success statistics, 73% to the long side and 85% even to the short side. All right, so this is divergence cloud. Let's move on to our last indicator, which is called volatility crusher, our breakout indicator. And we can see it here. For example, this is USD GPY on the 5-minute chart. Here, for example, we had this big arrow facing downwards. We had a short entry signal of a breakout, and price continued to hit both of our profit targets without hitting the stop loss or the trading stop. Here we had a long entry signal, which also hits both targets. Here another one, here a short, and so forth. And oftentimes this indicator will give you, at least when it comes to the statistics on the chart, the highest win rate, which typically has to do with the fact that our profit targets are a bit closer than our stop loss, and naturally because of that, our win rate will increase. All right, so these are our 3 indicators. Now, let me go back to the slide because this is just the first ingredient for our Conqueror project. So back to the slides. And just to sum up real quick, because you can use these indicators as standalone to make your manual trading decisions very easily, because they give you entry signals and exit signals, which you can easily follow along manually. They are tradable on any time frame. So minute chart, 5-minute chart, hourly chart, daily, weekly chart, no problem. And you can also trade every asset class with these indicators. There's no restrictions. Each of these 3 indicators will give you our real-time statistics. And now in the latest version, they also come with auto optimization, which will find the best parameters for you so you don't have to fiddle around with them. Okay, now this was the indicator side of things. Now let's move on to the trading side of things, to the EA, which can execute trades based on signals from our power bundle indicators. And this is, in a nutshell, how this EA, how this bot works. It will take entry signals from our power bundles, but not the exits. It's important to understand. So only the entries are used, and entries can be used from the optimized or re-optimized version from our power bundle indicators. And the EA will run completely on autopilot. You don't have to intervene with it manually anymore, because it can now take advantage of the re-optimization feature of our power bundle indicators. So that's step number 1, or feature number 1 of this EA. The second one is that by default, trades are only closed when in profit. When they are negative, we just leave them open. This is the default behavior of this EA. This is possible, and this is not a recipe for disaster, because of several reasons. First of all, our profit targets are fairly near, and the chance that we're going to hit it is fairly large. Secondly, our position sizes are going to be very small, because here we're going for volume. Many trades. They're all very small. They all close out with a small profit. But should they go against you, it's not the end of the world, because they're small trades. And third, we are going to use a portfolio approach. We're trading this EA on a whole bucket of symbols. So even if one symbol goes against you, or perhaps even 2, the other ones hopefully will make up for that. We implement the principle of a second chance trade. Let's say we have an entry signal. We don't hit our profit target. It goes against us. If it goes against us by a certain number of pips or ticks, the EA will look for a second trade, which has a slightly bigger position size. And this trade is executed on a second signal of the power bundle indicators. And hopefully then, in combination, because it has a bigger position size, it will make up for the loss of the first trade. And once both the P&L of the first trade and the P&L of the second trade are in profit, the expert advisor, the EA, will close out the trades, but only if both hit the profit target. And we have now added the option to add a stop loss. I don't recommend it, but if you need to use a stop loss, perhaps because your broker requires you to always have a stop loss on your chart, you can now also enable it with the latest version of our EA. I do not recommend it, because if you treat this as a portfolio, I truly believe that even one losing symbol will not be the end of the world, and will not even lead to the fading of the prop trading challenges, because the other symbols, the other EAs running on these symbols will make up for it. All right, so these are the basic principle of the EA. Let me just quickly walk you through the different features in particular. So what do we have? With this latest version of the EA, we always trade with optimal signals, because it is now fully compatible with our power bundle with auto optimization. And this includes re-optimization. Robustness was an important topic for us, because imagine perhaps your server goes down, or you lose internet connectivity, or perhaps it restarts for whatever reason. You never know. The EA will be able to pick up where it stopped. So even after a shutdown, it will be able to pick up to manage your trade or continue managing your trades. We can set the trade direction in the EA. So you can decide, okay, I want to trade long and short. I only want to trade long. Perhaps you're trading equities, or perhaps I only want to trade short. It comes with dynamic position sizing. So what does that mean? So basically, we are telling, well, every symbol, first of all, has a certain swing to it and has a different volatility. And, we shouldn't go for the same number of pips for every symbol, because some symbols are, very slow moving. Other ones are more volatile. So we should trade those differently. And we have built in a feature into our EA which can figure this out dynamically. It will analyze the volatility of your symbol, and based on that, it will pick a profit target based on that volatility. Once we know what the profit target is in terms of pips, it will find the position size needed that when we hit that target, we also hit our profit amount that we want to make in terms of dollars. So everything is done dynamically. We can set individual targets for the first and the second chance trade. That's more like a more advanced feature. We now have the option to set a stop loss. We primarily added this to satisfy some prop trading requirements, which require that with every trade, there will also be a stop loss set. Again, this is primarily for that reason. And the way I would trade is I would put the stop loss as far away as possible so that you can keep those trades open. And in the meantime, other trades will continue making profits while this one is still open. And we've added background coloring, allowing you to see at a glance what's going on. You can see at a glance whether this trade is in profit, whether this trade is perhaps in loss, or perhaps if the second trade has been triggered. All right, so these are the features. Now let's take a look. What does this new version of the EA look like? So let me move over once again to Metastock. And Homer, while I do this, or Nicholas, are there any questions at this point?
Hi, Daniel. Yeah, we have an interesting one.
Awesome.
Michael wants to know, can you set it to trade specific hours of the day? The EA.
Not in the current version, but that's actually a very good point and a good segue point, because keep in mind that this is an ongoing project, and should you become a member of the Conqueror project, you will be these new features which we are continue to develop. And once they're available, you will have access to them. So there's no restriction. That's a great point, actually. And I know lots of our members which have tried out the Conqueror project so far. They have sent me so many suggestions, and some of them are really, really amazing. They just take some time to implement. And for us, as the very first step, what was our priority in the last couple of weeks and months was to make it compatible with the auto optimization feature of our Power Bundle. Because I believe this is key to always have signals which are dialed in. But yeah, great point.
Perfect, Daniel. Thank you. And the other question that's come up 3 times is, do you plan to do this for NinjaTrader 8 or is it on both MetaTraders?
So far, we don't have plans for NT8 for the reason that NT8 is not as robust as MT4 and MT5, but something we're going to be looking into in the future. Right now, this is available for MT4 and MT5 for both platforms.
Perfect. Thank you. You can carry on.
Oh, well, thanks. Okay, so let's have a look at the EA. So let me open this chart here. No, that's not the right one. Actually, let me run a quick back test first. So here we have, and this is the back test of MT4, and I've already selected the new version of the Conqueror EA, which is called Conqueror AO. AO stands for Auto Optimization or Auto Optimized. All right, and I have picked Euro USD on the minute time frame, and then running this back test from the beginning of the year up until yesterday. And if you're wondering, hey, Daniel, where do you get all this minute data from? My MT4 broker only gives me a couple of weeks. Great question. I'll have an answer for you in a second. So let's hold on with that. And the first thing I'm going to show you is I'm just going to run it. And because I want to show you what is the behavior of this EA. So if I go here to this graph, actually, I'm going to stop it right here real quick. Let's have a look at this graph. What can we see here? Well, first of all, we can see that, wow, it looks pretty steady, to say the least. But this is because of the way the EA is designed. So do not let this fool you. It's not as picture perfect as you can see. It's really good, but not as picture perfect. Because what you see here is an equity curve based on closed trades. But remember, in its default version, this EA will not close a trade when it's negative. It will stay open. There's only one exception to that, and that is when a second chance or the second chance trade is open, and then the combination of the two are positive, which typically is the fact when the second chance trade, let's say, has a has a P&L of, let's say, $10 profit, and the first trade has a loss of -8, but in combination, it's plus $2, let's say. And they both are being closed out. This is exactly what you can see here. These little, peaks to the downside is when a second chance trade was triggered and eventually closed in profit. Both the first and second trade. These are these little things here. But let me start this again to show you that when configured correctly and when you really hit a nice run, and this is running over a long period of time, more than 5 months of data, all minute data, all very fine-grained data, you can see that, well, it actually does have quite a decent performance. It's not always the case, but for many symbols, it really works quite nicely. So this is Euro USD, and we can see here it's taking a whole ton of trades. So we are now already have taken almost 1,000 trades. I don't know if it's done. Yeah, it's done now. So we took 844 trades, profit factor 1.81. And if you look at our actual trades, if I go here, we can see that they all have a very, very small profit target. So 1.44, 1.98, 2.07, and so forth. But this is what this EA is going for. Whether this small amount is what you need to beat the prop trading challenge, we don't know. But I'm going to tell you if it's right in the end. So we're not there yet. But this is basically how this EA works. It goes for, or it aims for very small profits. All right. So this was the EA on Euro USD. But let me just put up maybe a different symbol. Pound USD again on the 1 minute time frame. You can see that it will have very similar characteristics. Yeah, the same very steady curve because it's based on closed trades. It's taking a ton of trades, and each trade, if you look at the individual trades, has a very small profit target. Now, let's have a look at the settings of the EA. So I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to the actual properties. Oh, there we go. Just opened up in a different window. Now, I'm only going to go through the key ones so you can get a feel of what's going on here. So the first thing that you can pick is the trade direction, long and short, long only or short only. The second thing to pick is based on which indicator do you want to have your trades triggered. By default, it's 1 to 3 strike, but you can also choose divergence, cloud, and volatility crusher. So any of these 3 indicators you can pick. Then we can pick, okay, what is my target amount that I want to make with every trade? Okay, so interestingly, let's say I want to change this from $1.30, which is our default value, to perhaps $10. Okay, I can make this for the first and second trades. I want to make $10 per trade or combination of 2 trades. Okay, let's do this and let's start it again. What we can now see is that if you look at the graph, it will be almost identical to what we've seen before. You can see it. Doesn't matter if I have $1 profit target or maybe 10, it's the same thing. Why is this? Well, because of the dynamic position sizing feature. If you go back to the results, we can now see that every trade, give or take, is now around $10. So you can see it here. And
Daniel,
you may think, yes.
Those profits are net profits, right?
They are, yeah.
And that we're seeing on the equity curve, like on the equity curve, it's our net profit that's rising.
That's the realized profit, yes, of every trade.
Thank you. And does it include commissions?
So you can, in the MT4 backtester, there's no way to specify commissions. So no, it does not. And it does not include swaps either. That's because you can't test it. But I believe when we do the same thing in MT5, and I have some examples later on, you can actually specify exactly this, like slippage, commission, and so forth. Keep in mind, guys, that MT4, this one here, is probably almost 20 years old. Maybe I'm exaggerating. It's super old. And back then, the backtester was not as sophisticated. But strangely, it's still super, super popular. Many prop trading firms still base their business on MT4. Not so much MT5. That's why I'm starting with MT4. But our EA is fully compatible with MT5 as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. What you can see here is that now every trade closes out with a much bigger profit. How is that possible? The answer is dynamic position sizing. Because we're still going for the same pip amount per trade, but we're now using a bigger position size. Previously, it was around, I think, 0.03 lots or something like this. Now it's 0.4 lots or 0.5 or whatever. So it's much bigger. And you can, play around with this, with these dollar amounts. It will not affect your equity curves. I could even increase this amount to, I don't know, just going to increase it to $200 per trade. And what you will see is the exact same thing. The equity curve will look basically the same. And that's, oh, maybe not. Oh, you know what happened now? Actually, good point. So maybe I was pushing the envelope a bit too much. Actually, it told me at some point that now with this crazy position size, I maxed out my my account size for backtesting. So if you're not familiar with MT4, what you can do in this case, you can simply go to the properties, go to testing, and just increase your account size a bit. So this was a little bit too small for that, but now if I do this, you can see it's the exact same equity curve again. And if you look at the individual trades, you can see they're much, much bigger sized, but also have a much, much bigger profit now each trade. Okay, so this was the dynamic position sizing feature, which I mentioned previously. And let's look at some of the other features. Now let's talk about the optimization part. And if you're wondering, man, there's so many things in here, Daniel, I need to understand everything. What's in here? Yes, you should. And if you come on board, and we're going to tell you in the end how you can join our team, we will have classes recorded, which will discuss every single parameter. And we're also going to have live sessions with you now that this EA is fully built, explaining everything that is to learn and to know about this EA. Okay, so let me continue. This parameter here, enable stop loss. That's the stop loss feature, which I mentioned previously. Again, by default, it's disabled. But if your broker requires you to put it in, you can enable it. Set it to true. And then you can set your stop loss amount in micro pips. So 3,000 micro pips is 300 pips, so roughly $3 when it comes to Euro USD. So it's a fast stop loss, but if your position size is small, it may still not be the end of the world if you get stopped out. Now, let's talk about the optimization part, which is this brand new section here. So if you have the old version of this EA, this section is not there in the old version, but we have added it in the new version. So here, for example, you can see I want to trade with an optimized version of the power bundle, where the indicator will find the best settings for me. So you can set this optimize on load to true, which is the default option. You can choose which optimization mode you want to choose, simplified, standard, or exhaustive. And you can choose whether re-optimization should be switched on. And if it's switched on, when the re-optimization should take place. And here we have two options. You can re-optimize every so many bars. So by default, every 500 bars. I think that's, a good compromise. Or you can also say whenever we go flat, whenever the indicator goes flat, when all the partial profits of the indicator have been triggered, then we should re-optimize. I personally prefer interval in bars set to 500. Now, a bit of warning, if you set this to re-optimizing, which I recommend because it will always give you the best setting, your backtest performance will be much, much slower. So I switched it on right now, but if I go now to our backtest graph, you can see that it will take much, much longer to complete, as you can see here. You may say, oh my God, this is way too long. I don't want to do this. I don't want to use this feature in backtesting. I would advise against this. And why that is, we're going to now discover together. So let me quickly go back to my slides. And don't worry, there will be room for plenty of questions in just a bit. Okay, so let's try to pass a challenge together. Or how would we approach passing a challenge? Well, first of all, we should have a strategy or a process in place, which will help us to do this systematically. So let's assume for a second, if you will, that our sample challenge or our prop trading firm gives us a starting balance of $10,000 Our profit target is 10% or $1,000. Max daily drawdown is at $300. Max trading drawdown at 10%. The challenge duration is 3 months, and we must trade at least 10 days. The last one is the easiest to satisfy because, as you can see, our EA is taking trades left and right. So this will be satisfied within the first 10 days of the challenge. Okay, but what about the other criteria? So how should we approach this? So this is the process that I would recommend. Step 0, and step 0 is only for MT4 users. If you're MT5 users, you can take a small break. So step 0 is you need to get proper backtest data. Now, you saw me run this test over 6 months on the minute time frame. Typically, your broker will not give you this much 1 minute data. So what do? You need to find this data on your own and import it into MT4. I'm going to show you in a second how this works. So this is step 1. Step 2, run or backtest the EA on as many symbols and timeframes as possible. Because we have so many symbols that we can possibly trade on so many timeframes. Why not pick the best ones? How do we find the best ones? Well, we need to run some tests. You may say again, man, this is going to take forever. I don't want to run all these tests manually. Don't worry, we have a solution for that as well. Once you've done this, you pick the best symbols that perform the best, and you create a symbol portfolio. You do a quick portfolio analysis using one of our other tools to see that if this portfolio would have passed the challenge or not. If not, you may want to refine it, perhaps refine the position sizing of the EA a bit. Then you get your demo account, and you can do this even without signing up for a prop trading challenge. You can get demo accounts of most brokers, so you can get a demo account, get a VPS too. If you don't have a good VPS that you want to use, you can check out the VPS that we are recommending, which is Forex VPS. Well, maybe I'm getting it wrong, but yeah, simply go to tradingindicators.com/VPS. And if you're wondering, are these reliable or not? I tell you, they are very reliable. So we use several services of Forex VPS, and including a complete dedicated server, which we use for some of our back testing and some other stuff. You don't need this. What you need is a VPS, and they're super, super reliable. You can see here, this has been running for the last 2 months without any downtime. So don't worry about this. So if you're looking for a reliable VPS, I recommend Forex VPS. They're very easy to set up. You can access them with Windows Remote Login and so forth. Quite easy. All right, so back to the topic at hand. And once you've done your due diligence on the demo account, well, I guess it's challenge time. Yeah, get the challenge, try to pass it, and let the EA do the work for you. All right, so a quick note, this is only for MT4 users. So your backtest results will only be as reliable as your backtest data is. If your data is messed up or has gaps or whatever, your backtest results will be useless. This is why you should get proper backtest data. Now, there's various ways to do it. You can get a third-party plugins for MT4, such as Tick Data Suite. Go to tradingindicators.com/TDS if you want to get a deal on this. Or there are also free solutions out there, which, perhaps take a combination of the FXCM historical data downloader, which is a tool which is completely free. You can get this on the FXCM app page in combination of our data sanitizer tool. You can get the data there, import it into MT4, and then run your back tests based on the proper data. This is exactly what I have done today. And if you are becoming a member of the Conqueror project, you will get a free copy or a complimentary copy of our data sanitizer tool, which can be used to convert the FXCM history data to a format which is supported by MT4. All right, so that's step number 1. You need to get good data. Step number 2, if you remember, is to run as many back tests as possible on as many symbols and time frames as possible. Now, this is super tedious. You don't want to sit in front of your computer and run one back test after the other on each of the available time frames. It takes too long. It's not fun. But luckily, we do have a tool for this as well, which is called the Portfolio Tester. And it does exactly that. It will run, or it will batch automate your back tests. All you need to do is to pick the Conqueror EA in these settings here. Pick the preset, the configuration that you want to backtest. Then you can select all the symbols that you want and all the timeframes that you want. And once done, you click Start, which is the button down here, and then the portfolio tester will do its work. This is a perfect task for your PC to be run overnight. So before you go to bed, put together your backtest, click Start. When you wake up in the morning, everything will be done. This is also why I said early on, don't be afraid of the re-optimization feature, even if it slows down your backtest, because it's going to run overnight anyways. So if it takes 2 hours or 5 hours, it doesn't matter at this point. Okay, so that's how you can run your backtest. And then we also have a tool to perform what we call a portfolio analysis, which basically combines all the individual backtest results together to create a portfolio performance, because this is exactly what you need to figure out whether the EA would have passed the prop trading challenge or not. All right, so I'm going to show you this tool in a second, and once that's done, and once you're happy with your configuration, I guess it's challenge time. So let's have a look at how this can all come together. So what I have done earlier on today, I have actually used our portfolio tester tool to run a bunch of backtests. And you can see this here. I saved them here on the third challenge test, and I've run tests on USD Yen, USD CHF, and so forth. So these are the individual reports that MT4 will give you after each backtest. So what we now can do is we can open up, so you can see here our portfolio architect tool. And this tool is able to read or import these individual backtest files. I'm going to just select all of them, Control A, and drag them, just by drag and drop, drag them into our portfolio architect tool, just like this. I can see it's importing all these backtests, and there are many trades in there, like 279 trades, 190, and so forth. And it will spit out a portfolio performance, basically simulating what would have been the performance, what would have been the drawdown by trading all these EAs together. What's the combined performance? And you can see it here. It's it made we had a good equity curve. You can see some statistics about profit factor, drawdown, overall drawdown, and so forth. Now, this is not alone to evaluate whether you would have passed the challenge, because some of the challenge criteria are very specific. For example, like daily drawdown. How much could we have drawn down within a day? That's hard to figure out because with these basic statistics. But we also have a solution for this. And I don't want to bore you with this, but I'm going to show you real quick how this can be done. So what you can do with the tool, you can download all the individual trades to CSF. So export to CSF. It's going to ask you for a file name. Just a second. All right, so I'm going to call this, 1 second. I'm going to call this perhaps prop challenge 1. Okay, if I could spell, it would be even better. Okay, so save. We'll save real quick. And once that's saved, we can now open up this Excel file. And don't be scared. You don't have to know any Excel to make this work. You only have to have it installed. All right, so let me find it. It's here, prop challenge 1. I am opening it up. And what I do now is I will basically select all the rows in here, copy it, Control C, and I will import it into my predefined template, which I have created for you, a template which can tell you exactly if you would have passed a challenge or not. So all I do now is really just copy and paste. I go to my template and I just do Control V, pasting in all these traits into this template. And that's it. I don't need to do anything else. So now, let me just make this a little bit smaller so we can see what's going on. Let me just quickly have a look. Yeah, there's only one thing you need to do. I apologize, one more thing. Because in Excel, you need to tell Excel, hey, listen, do the calculation until the very last row in my trades. So I can select all these ones and just click on this little thing here in Excel. Will do all the rest for you. And again, don't worry if you're not familiar with this. We will have training sessions on that. Now, let's follow along. So what can we see now? So now in our Excel template, we can actually see what was my drawdown, my max drawdown. What was my max daily drawdown that we had, and so forth. So here we can see, for example, at this point here, our max daily drawdown was $35, and my overall drawdown on a $10,000 position size was 0.36%. But let's continue. All right, let's continue. So again, we had some days where the drawdown was higher, but the max day so far was $67 of negative and 1.16% of an overall drawdown. And as I go through this, I can follow along. And the objective is that after 3 months, after this challenge is over, did we, before the challenge was over, did we hit our profit target before maxing out our drawdown, both on the daily drawdown and the overall drawdown? And this happened exactly at this point here. Can you see here where this cell is going green? This is a feature I have built in, which will show you, okay, at this point, we have hit our profit target of making $1,000. Let's see how long it took. What's the date? February 14th. So halfway through the challenge, with that configuration, we would have made it to our profit target without violating our daily drawdown and our overall drawdown, as you can see here. All right. And if I scroll down, let me just see if I can see something. No, we would have, across this entire challenge, not hit any of our drawdown criteria, because if you would have hit it, these sets would have been red. So that's a telltale sign for you. Okay, sometimes, the configuration was wrong, and we would have hit our drawdown limits first before hitting our profit target. But with this Excel sheet, it's very easy for you to see what's going on. All right. So back to my slides. So I hope this didn't scare you. It's actually quite easy, but let me quickly go back to my slides. And oh, is this the right one? Yes. So basically what we would have figured out at this point by looking at the Excel sheet is to whether our configuration with the symbols we've picked, with the position sizing we've picked, for the EA, would we have passed a particular challenge criteria or not? And the real cool thing is, and I have to go back one more time to the Excel, this Excel can be configured for basically any challenge. You can say, okay, what was my starting balance? What is the target balance that I want to have after the challenges? What to meet the challenge criteria? What is my max daily drawdown in dollars? What is my max drawdown overall? I can play around with these criteria. For example, we may have had a challenge where maybe my max daily drawdown is only, let's say, $100. A crazy challenge. I hope you're never gonna do a challenge like this, but we can just enter it here. Okay, $100. I enter it. Everything will recalculate. And now if I scroll down, you will see, oh no. At this point here, you can see this cell here becoming red. We would have maxed out this criteria. We would have violated the max daily drawdown criteria because it hit or exceeded $100 loss a day. And you would have not passed this particular challenge. Of course, this was a horrible challenge and nobody should ever trade this, but this is how you can configure this Excel sheet to fit your needs. Okay, now let me tell you how you can get hold of all these tools which I have shown you. So back to my slides real quick. We have, as of today, a subscription option available, which is, I believe, affordable, which will give you access to all these tools which I have shown you. For $197 a month, you will get, either for MT4 or for MT5, you will get our EA, which performs all these trades with, which you can backtest, which you can configure. You will get our full power bundle AO, including our 1, 2, 3 strike indicator, the divergence cloud indicator, and the volatility crusher indicator, which you can use for passing prop trading challenges or perhaps for your manual trading. These are just regular indicators. You can use them for whatever you want. You will also get our MT4 or MT5 portfolio tester. You will get Portfolio Architect, the tool which does the portfolio analysis for you. You will get our special Excel template. And if you use MT4, you will also get our data sanitizer tool, which will allow you to import historical data from FXCM into MT4, just the conversion for you. So if you want to take advantage of this, all you need to do is to go to tradingindicators.com/month to get the monthly subscription package for this bundle offer. And you can pick MT4 or MT5 for the same price. Or perhaps if you want to go for both options, I would like to get all these things for both MT4 and MT5, we have an option for you for $247 a month. All right. So that's for the monthly subscription. But if you really want to go crazy and advantageous, we also do have a lifetime offer for you. So a lifetime has several benefits. Of course, it's more expensive, but the benefit is that this is the only payment that you will have to make. So for $1,997, you will get all these tools for life. You get our EA, our Power Bundle, Portfolio Tester, Portfolio Architect, Data Sanitizer for MT4. Or if you want to get it for both platforms, here's the price as well. So if you want to take advantage of this, it's tradingindicators.com/life. Now, you may think, okay, why would I want to go become a lifetime member? Well, because you will be grandfathered into any updates that we will be releasing for either the Power Bundle 360 indicators or the EA or any of the other tools included. So now, with this being said, I think it's a good time, Niklas, to take some questions, or Homer, if you're there.
Yeah, definitely. So we have a question from Mark. He wants to know, what calculation mode do you have to use when testing? Every tick, OHLC, open prices only?
Every tick, yeah. You should definitely use every tick. And the reason why you probably paid very close attention to my testing mode here, it's set the control point, which is the second mode that you can use. It's not as accurate as every tick. It's because of performance. It would have taken too long to run a back test if it's on every tick, but you should definitely use on every tick. Oh, by the way, on this topic, I forgot to mention here is the MT5 version of our Power Bundle and the Conqueror AO indicator. Oh, sorry, EA. Oh, it's been a long webinar. And just to show you here again, it's on the 1 minute time frame. And with MT5, you get a lot more options that you can choose from. For example, you can set, just drag this up a little bit. Come on. You can set, for example, some execution delays to emulate real market conditions. You can, I believe, also set some slippage parameters and so forth. So this can all be set in MT5. And just for the fun of it, let's run it on the US 500 ETF, or I think CFD. Let me just start it up again. And you can see that if you look at the performance, it's actually quite promising on many symbols as well on MT5. If this ever starts up, just give me a second. Come on. There we go. Okay, so it's starting up, and you can see this is again this very same principle that we had before. It's you can see the equity curve going up fairly steadily. But what's cool about MT5, I'm going to stop this here just so I can explain something. I forgot to mention this because I think it's important to understand. See, MT5 actually also records the unrealized drawdown or unrealized equity while trade is still open, which is the green line. So MT4, you can only see the blue line. That's what you see, which is basically always going upwards. But when it comes to unrealized drawdown within a trade, it can actually have quite big drawdowns depending on your configuration, as you can see. And this is definitely something that you need to be aware of when you trade this EA, that intra-trade, your drawdown can be big. And the key is to find a configuration where this intraday drawdown will not violate your prop trading criteria. And this is where all the other analysis tools come in. All right, so back to my slides. Nicholas, any other questions? Or
yeah, two other questions. Darren wants to know, does the EA use all of the power bundle indicators or one of them, or do you choose?
You choose. Yeah, it's a parameter in the settings. So let me go back perhaps to MT4 again. So in the properties, there is a parameter, if this ever opens, a parameter here called trigger indicator, which is a drop down, and you can choose which indicator should be your trigger indicator. So either 1, 2, 3 strike, divergence cloud, or volatility crusher.
Thank you. Okay, we actually have two more questions now. So Lawrence wants to know, are you frequently adding stuff to this and updating?
Yeah, as often as it is possible. So we do have a wish list already of features that are requested. Some of them are easier to do than others. And our priority was in the last month or so to make it compatible with our auto optimization version of the Power Bundle, which is completed now. And now we can tackle some of the other requested features, just to give you an idea of what is on our to-do list. If you come on board, is, for example, I want to create a feature which looks for a portfolio profit target or portfolio stop loss. Because given, when my portfolio of EAs reaches a certain stop loss, you stop trading or close out everything, or vice versa, when it hits combined a certain equity target, we also may want to close out all trades. So this is something I'm looking at. We're looking also at time-based stops. For example, maybe every 2 weeks or so, we reset everything and start again to see maybe this gives us better performance and reduces our overall drawdown. Stuff like this is on our to-do list, along with trading sessions, as was mentioned today as well. So yeah, plenty of things to be done. We're going to tackle these step by step. And of course, as a member of this project and as a member of our community, you will be grandfathered into all these features. And I should mention that we also do have a Discord channel for our members where we can exchange ideas and so forth. So now that this heavy puzzle piece has been developed, I will be much more active on that channel as well, and look at your questions and try to give as much feedback as possible along with Nicholas and Homer as well.
Perfect, Daniel. And we just got two more questions here.
Yeah.
Mark wants to know, he's got an old version of the Conqueror. I told him, hey, you're going to get updates as you go forward if you are subscribed for the lifetime or you're paying the monthly. And another user wants to know, is the 1 minute the best time frame?
It depends, not necessarily. So this EA works on any time frame. I just like to trade on the 1 minute because I like to go for volume. And since prop trading challenges are executed on demo accounts, there's no commission. So this is not a factor. So you can just go for, typically there's no commission, I should say. On some prop trading firms, there might be. So yeah, I like to go for volume on the 1 minute or the 5 minute time frame, but that's my personal preference.
Perfect, thank you. And last one, if you're just starting out, would you pick MT4 or MT5?
That's a good question. So if you are not, and I have to say this very carefully, polluted yet by MT4 and not too much used to it, I would start with MT5. It's better. It gives you better features. It's much faster. So if some of our users, they are so used to MT4, they don't want to change anymore or upgrade to MT5 for good reason. But if you're not used to it yet, I would start with MT5.
Perfect, Daniel. Thank you. That's all from me.
Great. All right, guys. So now, so you have these two options. Either you come on board monthly, or if you want, for life, for a bigger price tag, but then that's the only payment that you would need to do. Now, talking about prop trading, if you're looking for a great prop trading company, I would recommend the Trading Pit, which is an up-and-coming prop trading firm which has extremely fair trading conditions. And there's one feature which is, I believe, completely unique out there. It is called live stage scaling. So, of course, scaling is a concept that basically every prop trading firm has, but the trading pit is putting this to the next level. And a typical prop trading firm, once you hit your profit target, you ask the question, hey, do you want to cash out or scale up your account size? But it's an or question. You get to pick one or the other, but not both. The trading pit is different. They will scale you up and pay you at every time you hit the profit target, which is a huge difference maker. So if you want to take advantage of this, I recommend the trading pit. And if you want to check it out, go to tradingindicators.com/pit. And as a special offer, we're also going to throw in our our trend radar indicator completely for free. It's not a free indicator. It's valued just $197, but we're going to throw it in for free if you sign up for any challenge with the trading pit. So maybe check it out. As I said, trading conditions are phenomenal, and the live account scaling will make all the difference, because you will cash out and you will scale up. And imagine you hit the profit target a couple of times, you could be in for a nice treat. Okay, so to sum up, if you are interested in the monthly option of the Conqueror project, simply go to tradingindicators.com/month. If you want to go for live, tradingindicators.com/live. And if you want to check out the trading pit, go to tradingindicators.com/pit. Awesome, guys. So thank you so much for staying on. I know it's late, so time to take a break, maybe grab some dinner, and hopefully see you guys all next time in 2 weeks again for our next trading tech talk. Bye, guys. Cheers. Have a good night.